So there is tolerance. It's like if you just tell everybody to do the exact same thing 100% of the time, you follow these commandments and these laws and you can't deviate. I think then that negates the thought of free will, right? It's like, you want to test those boundaries, that's fine. You can test the boundaries and then face the repercussions of doing so. But then there's also the olive branch in that if you discover the error of your ways and turn away and come back to God, then there's salvation in that. There's repentance in that. But then that comes from an intrinsic change of character, of ideology. It's not necessarily challenging the Ten Commandments in that there's a potential for them to be wrong, which there isn't, but you have the ability to challenge them if you want. And so that freedom in doing so allows for that outlier way of group of thinking, in that, okay, maybe that there is a little bit of insight over here and a little bit over there, and maybe we can bring that back into the whole without being fully submerged into this crazy thought process or way of thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think based on what you said there, we might say, okay, tolerance is the the practical way or the necessary way that we have to conduct ourselves in order to have freedom. Like we have chosen to value freedom,
Yeah.
therefore we must practice tolerance because freedom means people are going to do things that you would rather they didn't do. Um,
Right.
so and part of the argument for that is people are going to do those things anyway. You can have freedom or you can have no freedom and still have a terrible life. So
Right.
um like it's not like we're sacrificing a wonderful life in order to have freedom. Um on top of that, what was I going to say? Um when we go through that process of establishing freedom and tolerating each other, then I think part of the process needs to be understanding that, well, if tolerance is going somewhere where it's undercutting freedom, then that's not the point of tolerance. Like the point of tolerance is to maintain the meta freedom.
Hmm.
Um, and then there are some lines of intolerance because you need intolerance to preserve freedom.
Right.
Um, but there's no way, again, there's no way to be so specific about it. And that's why our justice isn't pre-justice, like it's called prejudice. We have justice after the fact. We try to apprehend people after they've done something, and we say, okay, that wasn't okay. Here's going to be the how to mitigate justice on that. Um, and again, just taking a harsh look on what that means. That means someone might, you know, walk into the mall and shoot a bunch of your family. That's part of that freedom. And that sucks. And it really sucks that we're in a society where that's like a regular thing on the table or semi-regular. I mean, relatively, it's we say regular and that flies because the news makes it seem regular. That's actually a problem because it's not actually that regular. Um, we just hear about it all
Goes
the
there.
time. So there's layers there. But anyhow, that is a result of freedom. And it sucks. Like it's terrible. But there's it's not like we're choosing between freedom where people get shot up in the mall and lack of freedom where people don't get shot up in the mall. Like that's not a choice on the table actually, as much as many people would like to pretend otherwise. Um, so so tolerance is in service of maintaining freedom. And yeah, all these different levels and different instantiations of this. It's like, well, some people are like, well, you're tolerating pedophiles, so that's obviously a problem. And other people are like, well, you're tolerating xenophobia on your side, or you're tolerating uh the QAnon takeover of America or whatever. Like there we run into this problem of spin and rhetoric and words. So, but I think what we can start to see here is that, as I said earlier, tolerance serves freedom, but that also, like what that entails is that tolerance is always going, it can't be a primary virtue. It's always a subsidiary virtue. It's always serving something else. So we shouldn't just look to tolerance like, oh, the bottom line isn't, are we being tolerant? That's never the final question. Because if it's always, well, are we being tolerant? Then people are just going to spin things to say, oh, well, this is the really tolerant thing to do. Oh, this is the really tolerant thing to do. But that's not what we should be asking. We should be asking about whether we're achieving the goals that tolerance is a part of getting to, that we've agreed. Well, freedom, an appropriate amount of justice, and whatever else we've agreed on. Then we say, okay, is tolerance in this situation, what does tolerance in this situation look like? And how does that get us to maintaining these higher level goals? I think that is going to be much more fruitful and effective, and that's a better way of understanding it than just saying, well, we should be tolerant because tolerance is good. Tolerance is not good in itself. Tolerance depends on the situation and depends on the goal. So we need to be clear about the goals and why those are our goals, and then how tolerance facilitates that or doesn't facilitate that. Because turns out our goal should be to have no no rape gangs going around and raping children. That's actually a reasonable goal. So tolerating that is not a good use of tolerance.